something cooking, do the call in here. So yeah, I hope that's all right.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Great. So we have a big lineup tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Some fascinating people. I'm so pleased. It's wonderful. It's so exciting. The whole thing is like great fun. And you've known Michael for a while.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've just seen your updated email as well, and I think that's a great, as you said, depth and breadth, and some really great people and great projects. So I couldn't agree more. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah.
No, it's quite a fun thing. So I spoke to Edgar Auslander from Facebook about this yesterday, and he wanted to run some really big videos and show them through StreamYard, and he crashed StreamYard repeatedly. So quite brutal, because he's working on AR and virtual reality and other stuff for Facebook, and so they're using AI and AR VR in a mixture over there. He just wanted to show everything. So he'll do that tomorrow, but we had to select from all of his video clips and so forth. We had to select the ones which were not 5K resolution and so forth. So he was bandwidth wise, he was just killing StreamYard.
Yeah, the no StreamYard. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That was fun. So so two things. One thing is I'd love to show you how this tool, StreamYard tool works. You've probably seen some of this before. And the other thing, I'd just love to give you a little bit of sort of a feel for the type of people that are going to be there tomorrow.
Perfect. That was my main question, actually. That would be brilliant. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you and I are meeting, pretty much first time. The vast majority of people there are quite literally friends of mine. So, so if our mutual friend Michael would drag you to a party in Windsor, then the room would be filled with these guys.
Fantastic. So, that's awesome. I love that.
So they're quite literally my friends.
It's really that's lovely. That's lovely. I appreciate that. So yeah, I thought that's lovely. I'm even more looking forward to it. It came across in the tone of a couple of messages as well. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's great to see.
Well, I hope I haven't been overly familiar, but it's difficult to not be overly familiar. I mean,
exactly. No, I prefer that. I mean, in terms of like warmth, you know what I mean? So I might have sounded wrong, but it's nice when you see genuine interaction and warmth between people. And I think that's great when friendship comes to the fore. So no, I very much value seeing that mentioned. So yeah, that's what I meant.
It's quite fun. So the first person on stage tomorrow is Michael Davies. And if I take it from the formal side, then Michael is professor at MIT, and he's professor at London Business School, and he's CEO for a medical AI company, and so forth and so forth. And that sounds impressive. First time I met him was in Auckland in 1992. Because we wanted to put up the world's first GSM data network, and we did that. So I was working for Nokia at the time, and he was with Telecom, with Bell, New Zealand at the time. We did that together, and I lived in his house for the duration of that process. So it's sort of okay. So we've had a couple of glasses of red wine, and since then, we've created and sold, I think it's 7 companies so far.
Wow, fantastic. Proper partnership in every sense, yeah.
Yeah, we've done quite a lot together. And the second speaker there, Mikko, so he's CTO at Huawei. In 1992, he ran the technical department at Nokia that built all the technology that Michael and I deployed in New Zealand.
Right, understood.
So we kind of know each other.
I think there's a recurring theme here, yes.
so that's kind of fun too. So I've seen Mikko's presentation, and Jesus, I mean, he is intending to blow people out of the water in terms of what they're doing at Huawei from a technology standpoint. I mean, they are really doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Huawei really well, so yeah, I'm very interested in that session. But yeah, I've done quite a lot with the organisation. So yeah, very interested indeed.
Yes, and perhaps extra much for that reason. You should. It's fun for you to connect the two of you. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The person after that, Andrea. Andrea doesn't play football very well, but that's compensated by the fact that he plays poker really badly. So Andrea is chief editor for Nature. So if anyone's publishing PhD papers and so forth, then that's of course a handy person to be networked with. He's a lovely guy. He's 100% Italian. He claims that he does not sound Italian. Okay. That's
brilliant. I've got my first. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's quite in terms of publishing. It's quite a big week for me as well, because I've got it's in Journal of Technology Forecasting and Social Change, and it's one of these things. It's been about a year and a bit in the making, and it got accepted on Friday. And I've got the proof copy to edit. It's come through this afternoon. So yeah, really excited about that. I lost my voice there for a second, but yeah. So I totally understand. I very much respect what the editors do at these journals. So yeah, that's interesting from a different perspective for me as well. So yeah. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, Peter. Sorry.
No problem. After that, so just looking at the agenda here. So Anthony, I hope that Anthony remains your friend and my friend. He is, in my opinion, the best lawyer for AI-related issues that I've met. And I've done work with Bird & Bird, and I've done work with Mishcon de Reya in the area. Anthony is he's pretty awesome. So you want him to be your friend?
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's also a really nice guy. Lives off Portobello Road and likes to cycle and whatever. He's a nice guy, and he'll be talking about. So if you are a software developer and you deliver that software to me, and I don't understand what the hell this is, and I use that and then cause damage, who's liable? And so that's one case. And another thing that he's going to be talking about is something where I'm advising on him on this one, so I can't really tell you all of it, but there's a case where someone did not use AI for a particular medical application, and they've been sued for negligence for lack of duty of care because they did not use the best tools.
Wow, that's so interesting, because you always hear the case
the other way,
or the concerns the other way around. I love that. That piques my interest straight away. I love that. I like things in their heads. So that's fantastic. Yeah, brilliant.
So that's Anthony. So he's he comes across as the sort of he comes across. Whoops, my 4-year-old here is a bit upset. There we go. There you go. That's better. Anyway, so yep. After that, Ambika. Ambika is NHS frontline, so PhD and all that good stuff, and has a lung specialist, pulmonary. And for the last 6 months, she's been pulled into COVID, of course. And for the last couple of years, she's been working on automated image recognition for the purposes of automated lung symptom diagnosis. And now she's doing the same inside COVID. And she's had COVID, all her family has had COVID. And She lost a colleague, 35-year-old, because marathon runner, because a patient came in and sneezed him in the face. 24 hours later, he was dead. So yeah. She's a cool girl, Ambi. She's a very capable person. Just
I'll play my guitar while the screen's free. I'm going to do my lips out.
The person who just emailed me there was Chris Wigley from Genome UK.
Wow, fantastic.
And he does all the numbers for the government in terms of COVID.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
And he's a guest star. He's joining us at 11:30 for the panel session as a guest star.
Superb! Oh, brilliant! Oh, how exciting! That's really interesting. Honestly, there's so many synergies and alignment and things, particularly because of the consortium that I've been working on, and some things with Nightingale Hospital as well about connected bedside. So love this. Okay. Fantastic. That's great news. Great news.
Well, the next person after that is Philip. And when Philip is not busy being a professor in Harvard, he tries to work out on behalf of Brigham and Women's Hospital and on behalf of Frimley NHS and on behalf of a couple of hospitals in Sweden, how he's trying to balance a couple of things. One is short-term money for COVID, okay. Long-term money for using AI to make healthcare sufficiently precise in 10 years' time so that it's affordable. And those things lie in conflict with each other. And if the long-term AI for healthcare doesn't happen, then we won't be able to provide the level of care that we do today in 10 years' time. And that's going to be a problem. It's already now not very popular to turn people away who need hip replacements. And that is only the tip of the iceberg unless we get sorted. And he's going to be talking about that. And I'm pulling that together so that Ambi kind of stretches into Chris Wigley's panel. Philip comes early into the panel. And then we have Chris Wigley, and that's going to be a mess.
That's fantastic. I love the way you put that together. That's superb. Brilliant.
Isn't that fun?
That's brilliant. You created this beautifully. I have to say, I'm really, really impressed because it's really lovely to see. So I don't know how to phrase this, but some events are less curated. Hello.
I see.
I can hear a guest star. I think
there's a guest star here with a.
Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, definitely. You can come and join my session if you like. You'll be very welcome. The future of tech. There you go, right there.
Exactly. So yeah, after that we have Sami, and Sami is an IP specialist, I dare say. He was head of IP intellectual property for the Nokia Group for some 15 years. And he now does his own IP consultancy, which is kind of relevant because if you don't know how the system works, how can you protect it from an IP's perspective?
Absolutely.
And that gets a little bit more complicated when you come to the speaker after, I mean, because Antonio from Lisbon, he's going to talk about how they use AI to automatically create software. Okay, so if my AI generates software for you automatically, who owns it? It kind of becomes tricky. So that's an interesting angle. And then you.
That is interesting. Yeah, there's been the whole court cases, haven't there, about personality, AI personality, and leading on to potential legal status and things. So very interesting. Yeah, I love that. Excellent.
Yes. And then we come to you. I have lots more to talk about, but what would you like to talk about?
Yes, because the heading was quite general, wasn't it? In terms of that, and for me, I can dip into quite a few different areas, which is why I'm really glad we had this chat actually as well. Just so we can have a nice chat, which is great, but also just to get a feel, from where everybody else is coming from, if you see what I mean. Because I know we mentioned about AI and kind of machine learning examples around the globe, and I'd love to bring to life some of the projects I've been involved in quite recently, but some of them do touch on the areas you've described. So they are related to COVID, for example, but also I do an awful lot around AI for good, around ethical development of AI and future talent implications. So my foundation is very much based on that area. So I can pivot quite easily, if you see what I mean. So I wanted to just kind of run that past you because, hello.
It's a bit too exciting. So
just so we've got the hello there. I like your headphones as well. Very cool.
Yeah, same as Papa's. And it just was a little bit scary. Är det bra nu eller? I speak Swedish too.
Right.
Yeah.
Poor foot. Papa, I got an ankle ache.
Oj då.
Yeah, I
get every language from her. Okay, cool. The background to this whole thing, to answer your question about what and how, I joined Objectivity back in February, and the first thing I did was to phone up the friends of mine who work in AI, and I was blown away by how interesting things people were talking about. Really, really amazing. Okay, good. And I thought that actually these people should be talking to each other because and then I thought, but all of these guys actually want to talk to all of these guys. So actually what we should do is just get everyone on Zoom and just spend some time together. But if you do that, then a lot of people would not be heard. And so actually it makes more sense to make it, and that then became this. And the tone, I think, that everyone wants is quite simply to be talking to each other. So quite simply a conversation among peers. And that's why I'm using the word benchmarking as part of the description, that it's just, friends talking among each other. But that then means a whole bunch of things, because if you think about, for instance, well, pick anyone, Anthony's speech about the legal implications and so forth. You're not interested in learning the basics about liability and duty of care. He can start at chapter 25 and accelerate from there. And the same is true about Mikko Terho. You don't need to know how many people work at Huawei. That's irrelevant. Ambi, just everything just straight in. Because if we have 30 minutes each, then at 30 minutes each, really you want, say, 20 minutes of presentation and then have a conversation. One of the beautiful things about this tool is that we can shift the layout in many ways.
Yes, absolutely.
And you've used this before. So it's incredibly easy to just lift people in among the speakers. So if one of the speakers wants to take part in someone's QA, we can just do it. Just take them in and be part of that conversation right then. And I have two people, Matt and Ian, who are lovely guys, who will be looking at the questions coming in and so forth. And it's true that this question, it's true that we can do, if you look at the screen, we can do questions like that. But it actually makes more sense, I think, that when Matt and Ian have questions, they just join us and we do it on a conversational basis.
I like that. No, absolutely. I'm all for conversation and it's more natural. So yeah, I love that. Perfect. Yeah, brilliant.
I think it's better. And so that kind of takes us to a point where we can then consider, okay, so what would people want to hear about? Well, they want to hear about what you personally are doing. I think, I mean, if you and I would be meeting up at Michael's place, then I would ask you, hey, what are you working on? And then you would be talking about that.
Yeah.
And it's less about the general case about the ethics of AI, more about what are you working on? And I'm setting up this thing to discuss this angle of it. What else? Wow. Okay, we have a disaster here. Just a moment. I don't know quite on earth how on earth I managed to get here. Rör inte. Here we go.
That wasn't the last one. I have to have the first one.
Ja, alla skrik inte. Snälla, nu får du vara snäll med pappa, okej?
I want to have the first one up there.
Den där, okej, tryck på den då. Det är inget problem. Sådär. She gets a bit sensitive when I don't pay sufficient attention to her. Vad är det nu, Alaya?
Too close.
Men du,
Too close.
Alaya, sluta skrika, okej? Vännen, sluta skrika. Sådär. Alaya, sluta skrika, okej? Jag vill inte att du skriker. Pappa blir ledsen om du skriker, okej? Sådär. Är det bra?
Tack.
Är det bra? Vad fint. Here we go. I apologize.
That's okay, no problem, no problem.
Yeah, so that I think that probably sort of guides you.
That's perfect, honestly, yeah, that's brilliant. I'm happy with that.
Okay, and then just to, so after you, Rose is talking after you. Do you know Rose? Rose Luckin?
I know of, but not personally. Yes, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
She's fun. She's boss for Educate, and they are developing AI in order to model how people learn. And then they have a different group of people who are modeling how to teach, and they're connecting the two.
I'll definitely be in that session as well. So yeah, absolutely. I always talk about tech, education, and impact, kind of the three pillars. So it's really interested to see that, and I love the way it's being brought together. So yeah, very much so. I think that will be definitely a follow-up conversation as well, to be honest. So yeah, brilliant.
Nice. And Michael Short himself, he'll talk about organizational development that he's seen at PokerStars and those things. That's fun. Then we have Malika. And Malika is one of Microsoft's top stars in terms of cloud migration and how to think about using AI in a sort of on-premise cloud software environment. And so she's a really heavy technical girl. So she'll talk about the future of AI in financial services. That's her. Hans, after that, he has some things to talk about how people will be developing software in the future. And he's got some really interesting things to talk about that. Again, that's going to be a bit more technical. Edgar, Facebook, we spoke about him, augmented reality, all that stuff. It is relevant. It's highly relevant. And Eddie, you know Eddie Short as well, I trust.
Yes, absolutely, yes, yeah.
Well, you know what he's going to be talking about. So that's fun.
Excellent.
And then we have Katie. And the reason we put Katie so late is because Kate is going to be talking about, she's in San Francisco. And Katie, she used to work for the Obama administration. She did the number crunching for them in terms of electoral forecast and so forth. And so she reported to Barack. And after that, she jumped on over to work for Mark Zuckerberg and reported to him for a while to do numerics for the Zuckerberg Foundation. And then she jumped from there and now does pro bono work, which kind of sounds okay. We have our prejudices. It sounds a bit sort of less impressive. It's actually more impressive because
I'm massive around social impact, so I really love. I mean, I want to know about this already. So yeah, no, I totally admire that. So yeah, not at all.
And so she reached out to a couple of her friends who have a couple of dollars lying around, and she's raised a few $100 million to do a charity for collecting medical imaging in a structured manner and making that available for people like Ambi, for people like Philip, and so forth. So she's doing something really magnificent, really cool.
Brilliant.
And it's nice that it's a charitable thing because, or non-profit, I should say. Charity it's not a charity; it's a non-profit organization. It's sensible because, well, she might succeed, she might fail. I think after you've seen her, you'll think, she'll succeed.
Yes, I feel that vibe already. Yeah.
She is that girl.
That's brilliant. I love that. I love that.
And given that, I mean, her new company is going to, or new non-profit, it will end up with a database in the next few years, which is going to be pivotal for a lot of people. And in that sense, it's good that it's a non-profit because they'll have such a position of strength.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's really interesting. Fantastic. What a great day. This is superb.
Oh my God, I'm so looking forward to it. I am so totally looking forward to it. It's amazing. I'm so lucky that you are joining us and that everyone else is joining us. And I should also say I forgot to mention Henry Terho. He's doing a software testing thing. He did his PhD on it. I read his PhD. It's actually really good. He came up with a way of doing software testing in an automated manner where you use artificial intelligence for software testing.
Interesting.
And it works. So I've thrown the software at a bunch of the objectivity guys, and they've ripped into it, and they just say, it works. So we use it now. And that's pretty cool because in that case, you end up with people like Hans, people like Antonia, who come up with AI-based automated software creation. And then you have Henry, who does AI-based automated software testing.
Yes, absolutely. The ecosystem comes together. I love it. Excellent.
There's a ... in there somewhere.
It really is, yeah. Brilliant. Love that.
It's quite fun. And so that's that lot. Then we have, in terms of the production team, so I mentioned earlier, Ian and Matt will be helping out with questions and stuff like that. That makes sense because they're both experienced. I have someone called Izzy who will write up everything, and I have someone called Alice who will create videos of everything. So what they're going to do is they'll generate some things and they'll give that to you, and if you like it, then that'll be spread around to the other speakers and so forth. If you don't like it, fine, you can just say no, I don't like it. But it'll be fun because the videos will be formatted for YouTube, and for there will be separate clips for the different channels and so forth, and you'll just get them on a plate. So that can end up being really quite useful for you. And the same applies to the text, so it should be fun.
Excellent, brilliant. I love it. I love the way you, as I say, you created it with such care. I very much value that. So yeah, fantastic. I'm really excited for this. Wonderful. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Have you ever done a screen share in StreamYard before?
I haven't very often, no, but I know how to, I believe. But yes.
There are a couple of things that can trip us up. So
okay.
if they do, it's no disaster. You are among friends, so that it's no disaster. But we might as well try to make it work. There's a button at the bottom there where it says share screen. You can see that. You might actually want to, if you open up a PowerPoint presentation in the background, you might want to do that first.
Okay, I'm actually on a brand new device here. So there
In
isn't
that
much
case,
loading on it.
Are you
So
running-
this will literally be, this will be literally
the first thing. Are you running Chrome, or which browser are you running? Are you running Chrome? Are you running Chrome, or which browser are you running?
I'm in Chrome.
Good. That's the best browser for
Has
StreamYard.
that worked?
Nope. So you need to hit the share screen button, and then you need to select if you want to do the entire screen or just an application. And then you select.
Is it the grey button is not enabled?
Correct. And
For some
so you
reason.
need to press the middle there. So you need to select at the top. You need to select.
Ah, sorry, it's my fault. Yeah, I thought I'd done that. There we go.
Cool. And then I can add that to the screen. Oh, that's it.
Cool.
And so that's visible
Funny screen
now.
share. Sorry.
You did a full screen share. It's usually better to only share the application window.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So try to do that for a moment. If you go there, try to do the same thing. You do share screen, and you can see it right next to it, like application window. Just pick any application. It doesn't matter which one. Can you see that? That's it.
Yeah.
Perfect. And there it goes.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect. So that works beautifully, and then we can then shift this around and make it purely sort of, yeah. Oh, and one other thing, that if people join, and then when people join, we don't want people to immediately just burst in on the stage. There might be a right timing to join the stage. So there's something called the green room, and by default
Okay.
you do enter the green room first, and the effect is this.
Okay.
So I was quite simply not visible for a little while.
But that's perfect. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
There we go. So that's the way that works. Cool. And that's it, because we can just make it work from there, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be great. And I'll just be, for the filming tomorrow, I'll be upstairs. So more in my study room, if you see what I mean. I'm right by the router and things. So yeah, should all be good. So it's the best signal there. Yeah.
Will you be using the same machine upstairs?
I'll be using the same machine. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it's the new machine. Yeah. And so that's fine. It's just a better backdrop, and it's best lighting and all the rest of it. So yeah, that's my kind of filming room, so to speak.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Excellent.
So I think those are the things. Yes. So your session starts at 1:30, but if you come 10-15 minutes before that, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by default, you'll just go into the green room at that time, and then I'll just lift you onto the stage so that you can take part in the tail end of the QA, and then I'll lift Antonio off the stage, and then I'll disappear myself and leave the show to you for a while, and then vice versa on the other side. I'll lift Rose onto the stage.
Yes.
And so forth. So you'll be joined by Rose and me, and probably by Matt or Ian as well. Just so we end up with multiple people at the same time, which is fine. It's sort of a nice little discussion.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it. Brilliant, Peter. Thank you. Fantastic.
Wonderful. Good. Perfect. In that case, I think we're sorted.
Sorted, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, you have a lovely evening with your little one there, and yeah, I'll let you go so you can give them some nice attention, nice cuddle or something. So that sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Sally. Thank you.
Lovely to speak to you. See you tomorrow. Cheers, Peter.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.